welcome to my channel, Elle's Temple. Welcome to my live stream. This is my very first live stream, so bear with me. I'm just getting used to like how to do this and getting set up. So I'm gonna try, and I've got a different phone here, so I'm gonna try, and if there's any comments, whoopsie, do those from this phone instead, because I've got the phone that I'm recording on up here. So let me just see if I can do that. Where are we? Live. Okay. Maybe not. Interesting. Okay. Hi, beautiful souls. Hello, hello, welcome. I'm just getting set up. I'm trying to get used to this whole live stream thing. I've never done one of these before on YouTube, so this is all really new, but I hope you guys are all doing well and everything is okay in your neck of the woods, wherever you are in the world. So to introduce this session today, I thought I would jump on and do this as a live stream because I saw that I can now do these on my channel, which is really exciting. And also because with this full moon eclipse in Libra, I felt like it was a good time to kind of do it as a session, give you a little bit of taste, give you a little bit of a taster of like having like a goddess activation and healing. And I'll also be doing a reading as well. So yeah, essentially, I'm going to start off with a little bit of an introduction to the full moon eclipse in Libra, and then I'm going to be talking a little bit about Mama Killa, and then I'll do a little bit of a Q&A if you guys have any questions about anything, and then I will go into a goddess healing. It won't be a super in-depth one. It won't be as in-depth as the ones I'll be doing in the goddess circle. They'll be a lot more powerful and a lot more intensive and longer and everything. But this is just a wee taster session. So I don't normally do energy work on YouTube or for free, essentially. This is normally something that I reserve. It's normally behind a paywall. It's normally something I reserve for my clients. So, and in my programs and workshops and things like that I've done in the past. So this is new for me to do it in this kind of format, but I just felt called to kind of offer this for the YouTube community and give you just a little taster of this beautiful like goddess energy healing, and be able to connect in and get a wee taster of one of the goddesses that we're going to be working with in this circle, in my goddess circle coming up, which I'll go into in a bit more detail a bit later. So yeah, so to introduce a little bit about the full moon eclipse in Libra. So we have got this full moon eclipse in Libra coming up on the 25th, Monday 25th of March, so tomorrow, 7 a.m. GMT, and the actual eclipse will take place between about 5 and 6 a.m. So with it being, it's a full moon eclipse in Libra in the South Node, so with it being a South Nodal eclipse, it's going to be quite intense in terms of like bringing things up to the surface that have been buried in our shadow. So when it's in the South Node, it's occurring in the Moon South Node in the sign of Libra. So it's bringing to the surface anything that's been buried in our subconscious, in our energetic body, in our emotional body, anything stored in our shadow that needs to be brought forward at this time in this sort of eclipse juncture that we're in at the moment, because we've got two eclipses. We've got this lunar eclipse now on the 25th of March, and then we've got a solar eclipse in Aries on the 8th of April. So the eclipses are sitting on this Libra Aries axis, and it's a really intensive time. And so the South Nodal eclipse in Libra is helping us to bring to the surface and release anything that needs to be cleared out before the solar eclipse in Aries, which is going to help align us with like ourselves in a really fiery way, in a really like initiation type of way, and an initiating type way. So it's going to be quite intense. So it's sort of an eclipse sandwich that we're in. So with the South Node of Libra, it's going to be really clearing out and releasing anything that is holding us back from aligning with our true selves, anything that is just not serving us anymore, and in particular in relation to Libra themes. So this is things related to balance, harmony, justice, conciliation. You know, Libra is very concerned with like the equilibrium, you know, keeping things balanced, keeping things harmonious. It's ruled by Venus, so it's all about kind of, you know, Venusian sort of related themes, like, you know, things being very aesthetically beautiful, things being very pleasing, you know, the environment, the, you know, the connections you're having, everything being in harmony, everything being, you know, having a sort of a lot of like equilibrium and balance, and like, you know, very calm and centered and kind of, you know, peaceful and all of that. It's very concerned with like peace and justice and keeping the peace and that kind of energy. And so when they can fall into kind of shadow energy, and when we are looking at like a South Node eclipse, you know, the eclipse is going to be bringing things up, as I mentioned, from the shadow. So it's going to be things that have been shadowed, things that have been not in our conscious awareness, not, you know, something that we've been consciously working on. If it's been something that's been suppressed, it's sort of something we can't see in our shadow. It pulls it up to the surface. So, and in relation to anything about those kind of Libran themes. So what that could look like is, you know, things to do with relationships could be coming up big time right now. Things to do with balance and where you are in balance or might be out of balance could be coming up big time right now. So, you know, this could be like looking at like how are you honoring your own needs versus honoring the needs of another, particularly if you're in a relationship or a connection. Though it isn't just to do with, you know, romantic partnerships. This is also to do with like any connections, right? Like even in the workplace, even in, you know, friendships, in like with colleagues, you know, with family, with you know, just your, you know, people like clients and things like that that you're working with. So it's asking you to kind of see, this eclipse will be asking you to see where have you gotten out of balance, perhaps, like where have you been, you know, particularly in order to keep the peace, particularly if you have that sort of Libran energy naturally within you anyway. But you know, this eclipse in Libra will highlight where you might have just been doing this in general, where it's tipped out of balance, where you've maybe been putting other people's needs ahead of your own, you've been overgiving, or, you know, sort of doing things in order to kind of keep the peace or keep balance or something like that, and it's put yourself out of balance in some way, like it's tipped the scales kind of too far in one direction or the other, you know. So, and also it could bring up, you know, issues in relation to the opposite as well, like where have you maybe been too self-serving perhaps in some situation. I highly doubt that's the case for anyone in this community, but you know, sometimes it might bring up, you know, in certain dynamics, certainly it could be that, you know, you've been perhaps overly concerned with yourself, you know, maybe you've been working really hard, you know, all of that, like really, really focused on one area of your life and gotten out of balance with, like, say, your relationships, you know, with all those Libran themes, like things like, you know, having connection, having time for love, having time for friendships, having time to find balance within. You know, maybe you've been overdoing it with other things and over focused on, you know, your own goals and your own career, and you've lost balance with, you know, those aspects related to your relationship and things like that, and you've kind of gotten disconnected from, you know, a partnership or from your friends or from your own sense of inner balance, you know. So Libra wants you to feel in balance, but like not at the expense of yourself, you know. It's not about like kind of getting into a state of balance so that, you know, even though it's a lot to do with like the other and caring for other people and finding balance within relationships, excuse me, this eclipse doesn't want you to do that at the expense of you. It doesn't want you to be doing that, you know, in such a way that it burns you out or that it makes you really drained. So like, it's really important to kind of like find that equilibrium point, and that's exactly what Libra is trying to get us to do, to find that like that healthy balance within ourselves, both, you know, in regard to relationships, connections, things like that, which will be kind of the main flavor of the eclipse. But you know, it might be touching on other areas of your life as well. So it's really worthwhile to kind of check your birth chart and see where this eclipse is falling as well. So that's just a little introduction. I haven't gone like super duper in depth. Those of you who are on my Cosmic Goddess newsletter, you would have got a newsletter about this, and I talked a little bit about how like this eclipse season feels like being in a bit of a like orange juicer kind of, you might feel like things are really compressed right now, because that's what an eclipse will do. It will like energetically push you to kind of purge stuff out of you that's been like trapped and held in like your psyche or in your energy body or something like that. So it'll kind of like purge things or bring things up to the surface excuse me, so that we can like, you know, release them and move forward. So it's a really powerful portal. You know, some people kind of fear eclipses and or see them as like kind of really negative things, but actually I feel like it's a really positive thing. It's like, if you think of it like a detox, it's kind of a chance to just like clear the slate, let go of anything that's not serving you, let go of anything that's like keeping you bound to like an old identity. Especially at the moment, there's a lot of transformative energies going on. So yeah, that is kind of the essentially the kind of flavor, I guess, for this eclipse. So to introduce you to the goddess, we've got Mama Killa is the goddess that we're looking at today. So Mother Moon, she's an Incan goddess of the moon and also seasons and cycles and time, the passage of time. She ruled over the Incan calendar. And also motherhood and marriage and also menstruation. So she's a strong sort of protectress. She was seen and regarded and worshipped as the protectress or protector of women in particular. But she was widely respected as like representing the divine power of the moon, representing the lunar tides, the lunar cycles, you know, the power that the moon has to essentially affect our lives. You know, the moon will affect the tides, it can affect our emotions, it affects our cycles as women, you know, it affects so much. And especially, you know, major cycles like full moons, the new moons, a big eclipse, things like this, you know, these do have an impact on us, whether we're conscious of that or not, right? It's like, even if we're not consciously knowing about it or setting any intentions or doing anything to connect with the moon energy or anything, it will still happen and it will still affect us and still impact us, but you know, just in a way that maybe we're not necessarily very tuned in or very aware of. But by, you know, connecting to the moon's energy and honoring the moon cycles and honoring things like eclipses and the portals and the opportunities that it gives us, is a chance to kind of ride that wave, right? So that we're not kind of we're not being like battered by like a big tidal wave of emotion coming through and wondering what on earth is going on. It just gives us a chance to kind of like sort of be a bit more prepared. It's kind of like being prepared for the weather, I guess. It's like looking at the weather report and being like, oh, it's going to rain today, I'm going to take an umbrella. So it's kind of like that. It's like, but for your emotions or your psyche, you know. So one of the things that like you know, with the moon, it can be a lot to do with things that are, you know, buried and hidden. You know, if you think of like the moon card in tarot, it's often to do with like the illusions or things that are hidden, things that we can't see, things that are in the subconscious. So Mama Killa is a really beautiful goddess to work with in terms of like, you know, you can call on her and ask her to like help you bring forth anything that is hidden that you need to see right now, anything that you need to release right now, anything that's just not serving you that you need to let go of so that you can align with your higher self. You know, she's a really powerful goddess to work with, to be able to you know, harness any kind of, it doesn't have to be just an eclipse. You can work with her on any moon cycle, and she can really help you to sync up with the moon, you know, because she is that embodiment of the moon. There's many other moon goddesses as well, so it doesn't have to be, you know, Mama Killa specifically. If you're drawn to, you know, Artemis or another moon goddess, you know, I encourage you to connect with whoever you feel drawn to. But you know, if you're new to working with deities or working with goddess archetypes, then Mama Killa could be a powerful goddess to work with, to connect in with that moon energy. you know, to really like help you sort of, you know, harness those cycles for your life in terms of your manifesting and your creations and everything like that. You know, she can help you as well. I talked a bit about this in my blog post, and it'll be something we'll be going into in a lot more detail on my Goddess Circle program coming up. But she helps us to like realize what cycle we're at in our own lives in terms of like, you know, quite often, particularly in Western society, right, we get really programmed into thinking we have to be uber productive all the time and like just relentlessly productive, relentlessly creative, you know, like constantly outputting, you know, like a machine essentially. And we're not machines. We're part of nature. We're part of nature's cycles, and Mama Killa really helps us remember that we are a part of this whole that is nature, and that we have cycles and seasons and rhythms just like nature does, and they're all different as well, and they will also change over time. We're not only impacted by the cycles of the earth and the cosmos, like all the, you know, astrological cycles, the moon cycles in particular, but, you know, we have our own inner rhythms and things as well. You know, we have our own cycles, and sometimes when we might be trying to manifest something or trying to create something, it could be that we're not really aligned with the exact right sort of cycle of creation that we're being called to honor at that point of time. So sometimes we can be trying to sort of force something forward, and really our own inner cycle or our body or whatever it might be calling us to like actually be at a portion of that cycle where it's about like rest and integration and like taking some time out and like receiving downloads and like kind of being in more of a kind of dark moon energy, if you like, or more of a kind of say autumnal or winter kind of energy, where it's just about like nothing is necessarily being produced on the outside, but there's a lot going on internally where you're maybe releasing things, you're alchemizing a lot, you're kind of working with a lot of like psychic downloads and psychic material that's coming through. And then things start to like organically evolve from there, and then you can sort of ride that cycle of like as you sort of shift from winter into your own sort of inner spring, you can start harnessing that potential and like starting to like set those intentions, and then starting to kind of set those goals and then take action on it, and you work with the universe and you work with your own inner cycle in that way. And instead of like sometimes like we can feel like we're trying to just push something forward, right, and it's like not happening, the universe isn't answering us, like we're just not getting anywhere with our manifestations. And it's quite often because we're being called to kind of go within and like retreat and have a cycle of retreat and rest. And like quite often if you don't resist the cycle that you're in internally, you can actually really like harness each like the gems of each stage of those cycles that you're in. So it's really powerful, like harmonious, and what's the word, like it's a way of working with energy that is, it's just so easy. It's like it brings a lot of ease into your life because you're not sort of resisting what's happening within. You're tuned into like what your own inner cycle is, and then you're riding those cycles of creation so that you can get the most out of them. So I'd encourage you, if you're interested in like learning a bit more about this or a bit more about Mama Killa, check out my blog post, which I put up last week about this goddess. I go into a bit more depth about her there. And then, as I mentioned, Mama Killa is the fourth goddess we'll be working with in my upcoming Goddess Circle. So she is going to be the goddess for the new moon in Cancer session. So we start the Goddess Circle on the new moon in Aries, and it runs through every new moon all the way up to the new moon in Virgo. So it's running through the light half of the wheel of the year. And yeah, Mama Killa is the new moon in Cancer goddess. So we'll be doing a really powerful session on that new moon, all about like harnessing your inner cycles, or harnessing the cycles of nature as well for your creations, to like really get the most out of your creations. So that will be on the new moon in Cancer, as I mentioned. So I think I've left the link below, but I'll make sure that I add it when I update at the end of this live stream, the link to my Goddess Circle. I know I've had quite a few new subscribers to my channel quite recently, just in the last like week or so. So thank you so much, by the way, for those of you who have been subscribing. So happy to have you all here. Such an honor to have so many beautiful souls joining the community. It's like just dream come true, literally. So thank you for that. And also, in case haven't been on my channel before and you're new to this, check out my website, ellstemple.com, and I've also got a Moon Temple membership on there, which this Goddess Circle is part of my Moon Temple membership. It's the second tier in that membership. So yeah, it'll be a live online gathering. It'll be really beautiful. It's, you know, a chance to connect with community, a chance to work with a powerful group in order to set your intentions every new moon, which is really, really powerful to do that in a group. It super, super, super amplifies your intention setting when you do it as part of a group. And we'll also be doing a guided meditation to harness the energy of that particular new moon. We'll go a little bit more in depth into Mama Killa and what she can support you with, even more than I've done here and on the blog. And then we'll also be doing a little goddess ritual and finishing up with we'll be closing the circle with a very, very powerful goddess activation and healing, which I'm going to give you a taster of just now, but it'll be different themes. So the healing that I'm going to be doing now with Goddess Mama Killa is going to be more about linked with a specific moon cycle. There's Libra this Libra full moon eclipse, I should say. So it's more about release. Whereas in the circle, we're going to be doing more about like tapping into your potential, connecting in with your like the cycle of creation that you're in, and like harnessing that energy to like really actualize your potential. So it's a slightly different theme that we'll be working with in the Goddess Circle, but this just gives you a little taster of like energy work, working with the goddess, connecting with goddess energy, and what that might feel like, and see if it's something that calls to you or something that you like the feel of. So that is that. So let's have a look. I think it's probably time to go into the healing now. So I'm just going to put some beautiful music on. Where are we? Okay, just want to check. I don't know if I've had any comments. Live chat. I'm not sure I have. Hopefully I've not missed anything. Apologies if I have missed anything, because I've been kind of talking a lot about everything with Mama Killa and everything, and I haven't been really watching if there's been comments coming up, but hopefully I've not missed anyone. So let's get into the meditation. Okay, so if I ask you to just, whenever you're listening to this, whether this is live or whether you are listening to this on the playback later in your own time, then just get comfy, take a really deep breath, maybe light a candle. I'm just going to play a little bit of background music. Okay, so take a few deep breaths. Okay. Breathe deeply in and out. Just going to guide you through a guided relaxation. Okay. So connecting in with the energy of the moon. If you imagine the moon, the beautiful white light shining down from the moon down onto your head, onto your crown chakra, and opening your crown chakra and spilling beautiful white healing light through your crown chakra and relaxing the whole top of your head. Just feel the whole top of your head completely relaxing, as if warm liquid is being poured down over your head. Relax your skull, relax your forehead, relax your eyes, your eyelids, relax your eyebrows, relax your cheeks. Relax your jaw, relax your chin, relax your neck, relax your shoulders, relax your upper arms, relax your elbows, relax your forearms, relax your hands, relax your thumbs, first fingers, second fingers, relax your third fingers, fourth fingers and fifth fingers. Keep relaxing your chest and your back, upper torso. Relax all the muscles around your spine. Relax your diaphragm, relax your lungs, relax your core, all the muscles around your core. Just feel any tension melting away. Relax your whole torso. Feel yourself sinking into the surface beneath you. Relax your seat. Relax your pelvis. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. Relax your big toe, big toes, your second toes, third toes, fourth toes, and fifth toes. Feel your energy sinking into the ground, feeling more and more grounded and held by the earth. Take a few deep breaths and feel supported and held by Mama Killa. Now feel her beautiful, supportive, nurturing energy and a beautiful peachy colored light swirling up through your feet, through your legs, up into your body, up your body, and around you. Feel this beautiful peachy warm energy like a peach moonstone crystal. It's so warming and so supportive, and it wraps you in a cocoon. In a peach colored cocoon, the energy swirls around you, helping you feel held and supported. Take a few deep breaths. You are safe. You are held. You are supported. All is well. You're in your beautiful cocoon of light, held by Mama Killa. Now, in this cocoon, Mama Killa asks you to release anything that's holding you back from aligning with your highest self. Just breathe into your body and feel into where you might feel any sense of contraction, or if any memories or any visuals of any person or place or thing come to mind, just allow them to bubble forth. Allow anything to come to the surface that wants to be released at this time. You are held and you are supported and you are safe. Any energy that wants to leave, any memories, anything in your emotional body, any old, trapped energy that is no longer aligned with you and where you're going next, on your next stage of your evolution. Just allow that to release now. Mama Killa has got you. Just let it all go. Just give everything to her. You don't need to hold on to this anymore, whatever it is. It could be a habit, could be a way of behavior, could be an addiction. It could just be a point of view. Or it could be something that is quite significant that you now feel like you might be done with in your life. Really allow yourself to be honest. What isn't working for you? Where have you gotten out of balance? Where are you overgiving, people pleasing? Where have you denied your own needs and wants and goals and dreams for the dreams of another? Either their dreams for you, their vision for you, or their dreams for themselves that you've subsumed yourself into. Where have you stopped honoring who you really are and your highest self? Just allow yourself to release anything that's holding you back from being your true self, your highest self. Just give all that energy to Mama Killa. Mama Killa will take anything that's weighing you down, anything that's holding you back. She will take it out of this cocoon and up into space and transmute it. Energy can't be broken, but it can be transmuted. It can't be cancelled, but it can be alchemized into light. Allow Mama Killa to alchemize all this negative energy that's been holding you back. Anything in your shadow, any old memories, anything repressed. Allow her to take it from you. Allow it to clear out of your cocoon of healing now. Feel it leaving you. Feel it leaving your energy body. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe deeply in and out a few times. Feel yourself growing lighter. And Mama Killa will return that alchemized energy to you in the form of light. Light from the moon that will illuminate everything that you need to be who you truly are. Beautiful, bright, white light. She shines that down to you now through your head, through your crown chakra, through your third eye chakra, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, your root chakra, healing and illuminating all your chakras in your whole energy body and emotional body. So you feel clear and light and bright. And now in this clear space, feel into your energy. Mama Killa is lighting up your energy field so you can feel your own energy. Maybe a certain color comes forward. Notice what that color is. Or just a feeling, or a word, or just something subtle. Whatever that is, that's your true energy. You've cleared out the influence of anything holding you back. You've cleared away any negative energy or anyone else's energy in your field that might be influencing you. And now you're connecting in with your true energy. Take a few deep breaths and connect in with this feeling and enjoy it for a moment. That is your true energy, and you can connect with this energy anytime you like. It is who you really are. Take a few deep breaths. Allow yourself to connect in with what you love, what you value, to connect in with your needs and your dreams and your desires from this true self. Allow any ideas to come forth, any visuals, any downloads. Any sudden impulses. If you feel a sense of excitement for something, or a sense of peace maybe, something that you feel called to explore, something you feel called to do. See what your true self is calling right now. Take a few deep breaths and just enjoy what bubbles up. If you've had any energy suppressing you, or anyone else's energy strongly influencing you, this might be one of the first times you can really listen to the wisdom of your soul as you connect in with your clear energy field. Remember what this feels like, and know that you can always return to this. You can always return to this energy. This is your energy. It's protected by Mama Killa, and no one else can influence you here. Okay, take a few deep breaths. Thank Mama Killa for her loving support and for clearing and transmuting all that negative energy, or energy that was suppressing you or holding you back. Feel Mama Killa floating back to the moon, and feel yourself starting to reconnect with the earth. Feel your seat connected with where you're sitting or lying. Feel the surface underneath you. Feel your feet on the ground. Start to come back into your body slowly and gently. Breathe deeply. Wriggle your fingers and toes. And slowly come back to the present moment. And as you're ready, gently open your eyes. Okay, so that was the beautiful goddess healing and activation with Mama Killa. So perhaps pause the video if you're watching this in the replay to note down anything that might have come up. It could be quite significant for you. Any visions or suggestions that you got. Also, I would encourage you with energy work As I'm sure you guys know, if you've done energy work in the past, make sure you drink lots of water. In fact, I'm going to drink some myself now. Yeah, excuse me, make sure you drink lots of water after this and have a gentle time. Like, don't go rushing around doing anything immediately after energy work. Like, just allow yourself to rest if you can. Take a little bit of time for yourself, maybe have a bath or like just do some self-care or something like that. So yeah, so that is kind of everything for the introductory part. So I'm going to get into your reading now. So I've already pre-pulled your cards, and I've got 3 piles. So I'm going to introduce the piles now, and then once the live stream is finished, I'll add the timestamps. So for pile number 1, we've got Wolf with Mastery. For pile 2, we've got Muse with Inspiration. And pile 3, we've got Kali Ma with Fierce Love. Okay, so pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose. I'll hold all of those up again. Pile 1 is Mastery, pile 2 is Inspiration, and pile 3 is Kali Ma with Fierce Love. Okay, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. All right, my love, so pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose which pile is drawing you in. So I'm going to start with pile number 1. Alrighty, so a little bit of a gear change with the reading. It's going to be a very gentle reading. It's not going to be super long today because, the energy is quite intense at the moment. As you guys, I'm sure you know, if you've been feeling the eclipse energies, you've probably been having a lot come up. Maybe you've been having a lot of crazy dreams, things like that. As I mentioned, that's like the energy being pushed out of us at the moment. So I don't want to kind of like tax you too much with a really long reading. So I'm just going to keep it fairly short. But let's start off with pile 1. So we've got Wolf with Mastery. And for your cards, we've got Caring Connections as what you're letting go of, which seems a bit confusing. But when I was sort of channeling the messages through, what I felt was that this was not that you're letting go of caring connections, but that you're letting go of connections that aren't caring, so that you can clear space for caring connections to come in. For the archetype you're letting go of, we got the Shapeshifter. For the archetype that you're stepping into, we got the Vessel. And then we also got Heaven Sent, card number 33, and Come to Me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires. Okay, so pile number 1, I feel like there's a few kind of different sort of strands that I'm getting with this, and it'll be different for all of you depending on what you're trying to manifest or like what you're wanting to call in your life. But I feel like the main thing that's coming through, what's coming through really strongly with these 2 archetypes, is letting go of the Shapeshifter and stepping into becoming the Vessel. I feel like for many of you, this Shapeshifter energy is like very changeable, very mutable, very like, I'm just thinking of like, particularly with this Libra eclipse, you know, it's like that. In its shadow, Libra in its shadow can be a little bit people-pleasing, or a little bit like overly concerned with others and overly concerned with making sure, like, you know, there's peace and everyone's getting on and harmony. And so they might like try and sort of hide when they're not feeling good, or not want to sort of cause, you know, a scene or conflict or something. And so they'll kind of suppress something in themselves, or not sort of be really true to who they really are. And I kind of get with this Shapeshifter, there's been like energy where you've been kind of maybe shifting your energy quite a lot, like changing, you know, who you are maybe around different people or in different situations in order to kind of fit in with them, and in order to get them to maybe like you or something like that. Particularly with the caring connections being something that you're letting go of connections that haven't been caring in order to bring in this type of caring connection. So I feel like for many of you, this could be a romantic partnership you're wanting to call in, but that might not be the case for all of you. It might be that for some of you, this is like in relation to friendships, or even like connections through work, or connections through, you know, caring clients or something like that. But there's been this archetype has been at play where And this is something that the Libra full moon eclipse might be highlighting for you, where it's like there's been this shape shifting going on, where you've been sort of adapting yourself, you've been trying to fit in, you've been sort of like one thing to one person, but then something else to a different group, and like just, you know, and I don't want to say this in a way like, you know, it's like you're, it's not like you're kind of, you don't know yourself. I feel like underneath it you really do know yourself, but it's kind of this energy where it's like it's very spread, it's very like it's not very contained. Like it's like your energy gets split, like maybe, you know, as you connect with different people, they're kind of pulling on your energy in different ways, because it's like there's all these, in this card here, there's all these kind of disparate parts. I'm just going to turn on, it suddenly got quite dark. Yeah, it was light when I started this. There we go. Hopefully it's a bit better. There's all these like, there's like an eye, and there's like I can't even really tell what that is. I think it's like a like human eye there, and then there's like a tiger there, and jewels, and then there's the snake skin in the background, which I feel like is what that's suggesting for me is like you're shedding skin. You know, the way that snakes transform, they're a symbol of transformation. They shed their skin. So I feel like you're shedding something, you're shedding an identity, or you're shedding this aspect of yourself that is quite changeable, that's quite like, you know, a bit of a shapeshifter. You know, shapeshifter energy can be a little bit trickster energy. It can be a little bit like you don't really know where you stand with it. You know, it's a little bit kind of moving. So either that's been kind of like dominating in your energy, or it's been an energy that you've been it could be for some of you where it's been an energy that you've been dealing with in your life, where maybe the people that you've been dealing with, the connections you've been having, have been shapeshifter people, they've been trickster people, they've been not really caring. There's been this like shifting sands, kind of like quicksand energy, or like it's like the connections aren't there's not a commitment there, or there's not like a they're not sort of, yeah, there's not boundaries in some way. They're too like fluid or too changeable or something along those lines. And so what you're the archetype that you're moving into is this vessel energy, which is beautiful because it's kind of the opposite of shapeshifter energy. It's like containment, you know, boundaries, the body like being held, coming back into your body. You know, with this shapeshifter energy as well, one of the things that I kind of picked up was that maybe for some of you, you might disassociate a little bit. So there might be a tendency to kind of like sort of go out of to kind of escape, like mentally escape. And then that's where that kind of shapeshifter energy comes in, that sort of trickster energy, where maybe you're getting pulled in lots of different directions, which again is coming back to that Libra thing of like, you know, how are you being influenced by others? How are you giving your power away to others? How are you, you know, overly being concerned with other people's needs, or getting subsumed into other people's dreams and desires and things like that? Because, you know, Libra is ruled by Venus, which is all about what we love and what we value, you know. So it's like, what are your loves, you know, what do you love, what are your values? You know, I feel like the healing that I just did, in case you're watching the reading in playback later and you didn't do the healing, I would really encourage you after the reading to go back and do that healing, because it specifically deals with exactly this. So I feel like it could be really supportive for you. And I don't say any of this in like any kind of way, like we've all been there, you know. It doesn't really matter how old you are, like quite often, you know, especially as empaths, right? Like, you know, so many of us as empaths, we will be like in a lot of dynamics, a lot of situations where we get into this sort of shapeshifter energy, either where we're embodying that ourselves and like being really kind of fluid and like trying to conform and trying to like, you know, we're sort of energetically matching people, because that's what we've had to do often, you know, in childhood in order to feel safe. You know, it's often a survival mechanism. You know, and sort of that energetic matching things, like trying to sort of like match someone else, trying to match what they like trying to sort of, you know, deny our own true self and deny sort of like things that are important to us, right? Those Venus values, you know, things that we love, you know, who we really are, that like our own sense of embodiment, like who am I, where do I end before the other begins, kind of thing. Like, you know, making sure we're finding that balancing point between this sort of shifting energy and this like vessel energy of being contained, you know. And I feel like there might be, with this sort of darkness in the background, there might have been some like there might be something that has been preventing you from being like feeling fully safe in your body. So there could be some sort of a like trigger warning here, but there could have been some kind of abuse or assault or just trauma, or you know, something in your shadow that might be something that's trying to come forward, particularly over this eclipse season. You might be starting to get little debris, little energetic stuff kind of starting to trickle through to kind of push this out, like to kind of heal it. Essentially, this sort of dark energy that's sort of behind, like this person is kind of their whoops, I just realized, sorry, with YouTube, with the nudity, let me let me cover it up. So yeah, with this person, they're like kind of putting their arms like over their body kind of thing, and they're in this like half an egg cup. So it's kind of like a rebirth sort of situation where it's like, you know, being reborn, but they're kind of like, oh, like I'm out in the light, suddenly there's like a bright light kind of behind them. So it's like this healing light coming through, and they're kind of just like sort of trying to cover themselves up, kind of maybe not feeling super confident in themselves, super confident in their body. So that could be to do with, yeah, like where there may have been trauma, where there may have been something that like stopped you feeling embodied, or stopped you feeling safe in your body, stopped you feeling safe, feeling contained, and like really knowing and being grounded in who you are, being grounded in the like I said, like the container of your body, the sort of the boundary. So it's like, yeah, that is my energy, this is me, that is that person, that's what they like, that is their energy, that's not mine. You know, being able to distinguish between emotions and like where you've picked up energy from other people, which is this sort of shapeshifter energy, right? Like being so shifty that you can like, you know, you don't really know what energy is yours and what energy is someone else's. You can see, like I was showing you with this card, it's all like mixed, it's like a jumble kind of thing. So I feel like that's something that this Libra full moon eclipse is going to push that archetype to the surface, to release it and heal it, so that you can like come back into your body and feel safe again in your body and feel more contained. I'm also seeing with the color yellow as well, this is, or this sort of golden color really, this is connected with the solar plexus chakra, which is like your center of your personal power, your center of your will, you know, your true self, being able to shine your light. So I feel like particularly over this time, doing some solar plexus chakra healing could be really helpful for some of you, because I feel like once you're able to kind of heal those things, you've got heaven sent here. And also with this card, the come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires. I feel like once you're able to kind of like ground back into like the vessel that is your body, and kind of really connect with like your true self. And like I said, I would highly recommend my healing that I did at the beginning of this video, because you connect in with your own energy, you clear out everyone else's energy, and you connect in with your own energetic field and feel that really strongly, which for you, pile number one, I would really recommend, because I feel like that might be something that you sometimes struggle with. And you know, like I said, this is normal for empaths, this is really, really common, especially if you're like on the spiritual path, or you're kind of, you know, often maybe doing a lot of like meditating or connecting and with like, you know, channeling, doing like this kind of thing, or you know, you just have a like super open third eye or super open energy field, or whatever it is, or particularly if you have Libra, all those sort of aspects really strong in your chart, where you often sort of, you know, feel the need to kind of like care for others more, like you sort of put other people's needs before your own. I feel like if you're able to kind of heal all of that and like reconnect with you and your own energy, your own boundaries, like who you really are, like what's important to you, what you want to attract, like what are you actually desiring, you know, particularly in regard to like connections or relationships or partnerships. If you've not, you know, because when I got this card, I kind of tuned in, and spirit were like, no, they don't have this necessarily. Like for some of you, it's like you've been wanting this, but what you have been attracting is more like kind of the wrong kind of people, like sort of this shape-shifting energy, like things that aren't really caring or aren't really stable. But I feel like once you're able to like connect in with your true energy, you are going to be like you are going to be gifted. There are going to be gifts coming to you with this heaven sent energy. You are going to be attracting very magnetically once you're in your own energy and not trying to attract from like, you know, your mind or what you think you want or what other people have told you you should do or that you should want, or, you know, trying to like sort of fit in with other people's dreams or fit in with other people's desires. Once you're really like in your own energy, it's like you'll just open up and like attract very naturally the right people, because it's like your frequency, right? Like your vibration, your own internal frequency will like magnetically attract the right people to you who will be supportive of you. There'll be these caring connections. There'll be, you know, things that are for your highest good. That's what this reading is all about. It's all about releasing what's not serving you so that you can align with your highest good. And it feels like with this heaven sent, there is, you know, this card talks about there is like something being on its way to you. There's something that the universe wants to gift you with. There's something that's like coming from like heaven that is like, you know, something you've been maybe trying to manifest or something you've been yearning for. A gift is coming to you, and it's important to like open up and like allow that in, which you can really only do if you're in this like this vessel energy of being, you know, your true, connected to your true self and in your body and in your own energy, and not sort of operating from a kind of overly fluid place of like being so influenced by other people, I guess. And that is what this, with this wolf and mastery, that's what this card is all about, is like mastering yourself, mastering your energy, mastering your emotions, mastering like, you know, connecting with your true self. You know, it also talks about like operating from a place where you're in connection and in harmony with a group, and also stepping into being like a leader, or being like, you know, able to, you know, when you get to a certain point in mastery, it's like you can guide others, but it's like you're not meant to do that in isolation from everyone. Like, you know, with this shapeshifter energy, if you've been kind of like pulled around in lots of different directions, it's like you wouldn't necessarily have the kind of like stability or kind of like the right kind of like inner energetic vibration in order to be able to like lead other people or connect with other people effectively, or like, you know, be in a group. Like it talks about how, you know, like wolves aren't meant, they're not meant to be solo, they're not meant to be in isolation. Like they can be, but like they're meant to be part of a pack, they're meant to kind of like operate together. You know, it's a sort of holistic thing. So it's like, you know, where have you been kind of say hiding yourself or pulling yourself away from like, you know, from truly operating within a community or within a group, or within like, you know, operating from a place of power or from a place of mastery? Because I feel like there's something like higher, there's something that you're being kind of called towards that's like here for you. I feel like maybe finishing up by reading from the guidebook for the Sacred Rebels card, so the Heaven Sent one. So here we go, 33. Okay, Heaven Sent. So, just as we receive gifts in the physical world through the thoughtfulness of others to acknowledge how much we mean to them, so too we receive gifts on other levels, including the spiritual level. A spiritual gift is something that happens through grace. We can ask for help and it may be given in response to that request. All requests for help are answered. A spiritual gift can also be given without us asking for anything at all, at least not consciously. Sometimes it is our hearts that cry out for help. Whilst we are busy getting on with our to-do list, we don't often stop to think about what our hearts might need. If we do and an immediate solution is not obvious, we just get on with life, either letting the issue be or taking the more painful option of dwelling on it without seeing how it might be resolved. However, there is a loving benevolence in life that knows exactly what we need and how it can best come to us, even when we are not quite so clear. This force actively seeks to assist us in walking our life path. That loving sweetness is being offered to you now, or soon will be, in the form of a spiritual gift. Your spiritual gift may be symbolic. It may be something that seems ordinary but holds a lot of meaning to you. It might be an object that catches your eye and mesmerizes you. You might think you're appreciating how lovely it looks, but it is the underlying energy that captures you. Something in the appearance, color, or shape speaks to you and is perhaps answering an unspoken prayer. It is not the object that is the gift. That is just the wrapping. The actual gift is subtle yet effective empowerment. It is like a spiritual booster shot that helps you move forward in life with additional zing, extra strength, and greater peace. You will be empowered to accomplish tasks that you may have nearly but not quite been able to manage on your own through the bestowal of a spiritual gift. The spiritual gift may or may not be recognizable to you. It may be very obvious, an offer, a windfall, a trip, a friendship, a new lover. So yeah, we've got caring connections being something that's highlighted in particular. So for those of you that are wanting that, that could be something that might come through. Or a remarkable healing in a current relationship. It might be far more subtle and even more powerful, such as a jolt of energy that allows you to perceive things differently all of a sudden, and perhaps solves a problem that has been plaguing you. It will be bestowed as and when it is needed in the form that will best serve the love in you. This oracle also brings you the message, let yourself be helped. Assistance is coming your way, so act on it and say yes. This oracle also comes with the message that you are to trust in the things that you feel and say to others without knowing why. It moves them. You might not understand, but through trust, you are allowing yourself not to overthink and censor yourself. As such, you are able to become a vessel through which the spiritual gift can be passed on to others. Don't block yourself. Let life happen through you. Only benefit can come from this. So then it's just talking about another card. So yeah, it's saying, look, love is speaking to you directly here, so pay attention. Really feel the truth of what is being said and trust it. You are being helped. It is simple to receive the gift that is headed your way. The healing process below will activate that for you. And the process is to say, through unconditional love, I now accept the spiritual gifts that are bestowed upon me with complete trust and gratitude, so be it. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, I definitely feel like I kind of picked up a couple of things there. Like I was saying in the intro, there's kind of a few strands of people in this group. So for some of you, it could be regarding like healing a relationship, or maybe possibly even ending certain connections if they haven't been really clearing. That could be something that could come up. This Libra full moon is really recognizing where connections haven't been supportive of you and they haven't been right for you, and maybe looking at like going separate ways and like clearing that space so that someone who is caring and is supportive can come through. So that could be something that is like going to be heaven sent, that the universe wants you to like move away from things that are toxic or that aren't really in your highest good or connected to your highest self in any way. They're not in support of you, so that this heaven sent relationship, this beautiful caring connection can come into your life. So that might be for some of you. For others of you, I kind of picked up the aspect about trusting in the things that you feel and say to others without knowing why. And like trust, you might not understand, but through trust, you're allowing yourself not to overthink and censor yourself, and you're becoming a vessel. You're becoming a vessel, and you got the archetype of vessel. This is like so perfect the way it's kind of such a synchronicity. You are becoming a vessel through which the spiritual gift can be passed on to others. Don't block yourself, let life happen through you. So for some of you, I feel like this gift is like becoming a spiritual vessel, becoming like a channel, becoming a healer, becoming a mentor, becoming a guide, which is where this wolf mastery comes in. Because like I was talking about with that card, it was saying in, I'm not going to read the whole message because it's quite long, but where are we? Wolf with mastery. So the shadow is about being like self-serving. Not that I think I'm not saying like you guys are self-serving at all, but I just feel like it's talking about how the shadow of wolf is the lone wolf, the one who puts herself before the needs of the tribe. And you know, this again, the Libra full moon is going to bring up imbalances on either side, putting other people's needs before yours, or putting yours before the needs of a group or a collective, where it's in detriment to yourself. So to indulge in self-serving and allegiance to smallness dishonors the spirit of wolf. Don't set yourself apart from the circle of being. Instead, claim inner mastery. When this shift occurs, a more generous stance alters your course and impacts your actions. This ripples out to the tribe, enabling mutual discovery that leads to new ways of being and of being together. True leaders call each person into their own power so that all may become vehicles of resplendence. To awaken the potential lying dormant in others, you need to first actualize the potential in yourself. It is no accident that the Greek word for wolf, lukos, is kin to the Greek word for light, lurkos. Before you can shine your light, you must become the light. Don't be afraid of wolf when she appears. Look into her knowing eyes and meet your own mastery. Woo, that's such a powerful message. And I feel like it's really connected with what it was saying about you becoming, the importance of you like really becoming the vessel and like becoming really embodied for that spiritual light that wants to come in. You know, release that darkness that's all around you, all this darkness here, this old energy that's not yours, it's not who you really are. Release all of that, allow yourself to be embodied as this like vessel of spiritual light. You are the light. You're meant to be a vessel through which that spiritual gift can be passed on to others, and let that come through you. So there's kind of a couple of different strands there. You'll know sort of which group you fall into, or you might fall into both, you know, or it might be that one thing is something you're dealing with right now and something else might come up a little bit down the track. But those I feel like are all the messages I have for you, pile number 1. Comment below if it resonated for you. I'd really love to hear. And like I mentioned, go back in and do, particularly for you, pile 1, do the healing. It's only 15 minutes, I think, with Mama Killa, the sort of healing and activation that will really help you sort of like reconnect with your own energy and step into that really powerfully. So yeah, those are all the messages for pile number 1. Check out if you feel called to join my upcoming Goddess Circle starting on the new moon in Aries. Check out the link for that below. It's part of my Moon Temple membership. There's a couple of other tiers available as well, but the main one that is coming up, it's closing really, really soon, and there's only limited places left on that as part of the circle, because I'm only holding space for a very small intimate group, so that it's a beautiful like held circle rather than a huge big thing with loads of people. So yeah, check that out. The link will be below. And thank you so much for being here. It's been lovely doing this live stream, and I will see you in the next reading. Okay. Alrighty, so let's move on to pile number 2. Okay, so we got, sorry guys, I'm just gonna have some water. Alrighty. Okay, so we got Muse for you. If you chose Muse with inspiration, you'll be pile 2. Okay, and we got card number 38 with 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. We got, for the archetype that you're letting go of, we got the Siren, which is card number 18. Okay, we got, for the archetype you're stepping into, we got the Creator, which is card number 22. Some of you might be life path 22. Excuse me, and also 38. Some of you may be around age 38 or something like that. Don't worry if you're not, doesn't have to be. But then we've got Dream a Beautiful Dream, card number 19, the Sacred Rebels card. And we got, for the Rose Oracle card, Open, Say Yes, Expand Through the Extremes, and Trust Life. Okay, wow, powerful, powerful energy coming through for you, pile number 2. So, and also a very strong creative energy as well with Muse and inspiration. I'm definitely getting like strong kind of creative vibes, sort of goddess Saraswati, who's like the goddess of knowledge and creativity and music and all of that good stuff, and art and everything, languages and writing. So some of you might be writers, you might be musicians, you might be some kind of creative in some way. And I feel like one of the things, this Libra full moon, I feel like is going to in particular work on your heart chakra. But unlike for pile 1, which there was a little bit of stuff relating to relationships for pile 1, for you, pile 2, I feel like this is much more to do with like yourself and your relationship with your creativity and what you love, like doing what you love and having the like confidence to really embrace what you love, the unique things that you love, and embrace your muse. And like, you know, like sort of, you know, Libra is ruled by Venus, which I talked about this in a little bit in pile 1. I might have done in the introduction, but I can't really remember now. But basically, it's to do with like what you love and what you value, you know. And so I feel like there's something coming up around like carving out time to focus on what you love and what you value. All the piles, interestingly, today have a lot to do with like sort of harnessing your own energy, and that can definitely be something that could come up in a Libra eclipse, where, you know, particularly a South Node eclipse, where it's going to bring up shadow stuff related to Libra, which can be a lot to do with like spreading your energy thin, like over giving to other people, sort of people pleasing, or like kind of getting sucked into other people's projects, or getting sucked into things that other people value and other people love and other people's dreams, and sort of negating our own in order to, like, say, keep the peace in a relationship, or just in order to fit in with other people, or in order to be liked, or in order to, for whatever reason, you know, it could be any number of reasons why we do this kind of thing. And I'm not saying any of this is like, Palatine, why are you doing this? Like, you know, I've been there, I've done this for years, and it's taking me, you know, until my late 30s. And so some of you could be in your late 30s as well. We got 38. It took me until my late 30s and into my early 40s to you know, really embrace what I like, and really honor it and own it and step into it fully and be like, no, this is me, this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to honor that creativity and see where it leads me. And so some of you might be on that kind of precipice of doing that now. You'll be at different stages. I feel like for some of you, this could be quite new, and this could be something that, like, you know, you have this sort of inner muse, or you know, you have this creative power, or this creative connection, if you like. But it might not be something that you're fully honoring or fully, like, valuing, maybe with the fourth chakra being there, and, like, you know, the importance of, like, what do you love? What do you value? Are you sort of putting your heart's energy into that? You know, are you doing something that you love? Are you allowing yourself to do something that you really, really love? Because with the siren here being the shadow energy of what you're letting go of, the archetype of what you're letting go of, and the creator being the energy you're stepping into, there's this sort of, it's a similar energy to pile one, where like I said, it's like this fluidity, this sort of like vagueness, or kind of being pulled in different directions, as being the shadow energy that we're letting go of. And the energy that we're being called to step into is this much more like focused, harnessed, you know, like more centered in ourselves and in our power. Like pile one got stuff related to like self-mastery, but for you, pile two, I feel like this is a lot to do with creativity. You know, this muse can talk about, you know, it's very Neptunian energy. It's very much energy that's like, you know, it could be connected to getting lost in different ideas, you know, getting lost in illusions, like having lots of, like, as a creative, it could be like having loads of different creative ideas and thinking about them all a lot and getting a bit lost in that, and then never really sort of harnessing that energy and taking action on something. It's kind of like, you know, siren energy is like where you're being lured towards something. So what has been like luring you perhaps away from like your creativity, you know, so it could be someone else's creative work. Like I'm kind of getting the vibe of like in the artist's way, who's, I've just completely forgotten the name of the author who wrote that book, but anyway, you guys will probably know, or you can look it up. But in the artist's way, the famous book, Julia something, not Julia Child. that's the chef. Anyway, in the artist's way, she talks about how there's such a thing as like shadow artists, right? Who end up sublimating their own inner artist or creator to support other artists and creatives by being in the shadows of their glory, or them sort of shining their light. So they'll be like support acts, they'll be like in the backstage, they'll be kind of doing the marketing, they'll be doing the, you know, the whatever it might be, you know. And sometimes that's a necessary step on that journey towards becoming a creative, because sometimes you're sort of then still in the field and you're kind of like, you know, you're kind of in that milieu, you're around the right people and things like that. And that can be a stepping stone, but it's important to kind of discern where you're like being a shadow artist, you know, and you've completely like suppressed, you know, your own creativity, and you're just going towards this like shiny, you know, like the siren is like, you know, it's almost like a screen siren. So maybe for some of you work in media or the arts, or for someone like, you know, like an actress, or, you know, someone else who has some sort of limelight, or someone who's like very alluring or something like that. Or maybe some of you work in something like marketing or something, and it's like you you kind of are a support for like you use your creativity maybe for something else that's not your own creative work, that's not like honoring your own inspiration, your own muse. It's like, and maybe with the fourth chakra being here, it's like, what do you love, Pearl, to? Like, what lights you up? What is your heart calling you towards? You know, the fourth chakra is your heart chakra. So it's like, what is your heart calling you? What is your heart telling you to do? What is important to your heart? You know, what do you really value? You know, do you really value this thing that is being sort of in support of someone else? Or, you know, it could be, if it's not kind of, you know, working for someone like that, it could be that like your there's been someone in your life, like it could be within a relationship, or it could be within like maybe even like a creative project or something, where there's someone else who like their goal, their vision for something, their idea for some sort of creative thing is like very alluring, and it's distracted you and it's pulled you in sort of almost under, like it's pulled you under with them, so that you've gotten quite subsumed in their energy, their project, their desire for this thing, the things that they love, the things that they value, which can often happen in, particularly in early stages of relationships, particularly if there's any like kind of anxious attachment or codependency or anything like that. That's very common, and like, you know, that can sometimes happen, but that could be something that could come up this Libra full moon eclipse. It could be highlighted where you maybe have there might be an imbalance there, where it's like, hold on a minute, like I really wanted to do my creative project, and actually I've ended up like putting all my energy into this other person's project. And actually I'm being shown the film, this is so funny because I watched this really cheesy film the other day on Netflix called The Irish Wish or something like that, with Lindsay Lohan randomly, and I can't remember the name of the guys in it, but that's quite useful that I watched that now, because Spirit is showing me this as an example. So in the story, I hopefully won't ruin the whole thing, but in case you want to watch it, but it's a rom-com. But in the story, she is like, she's a editor, right? So some of you might be like in publishing or in editing or something like that, or you might be wanting to be, you know, a writer, but you're doing something like marketing other people's books or something like that. So anyway, in this story, Lindsay Lohan's character, she is a writer. She wants to be a writer. She wants to write her own book, but as her job, she's an editor, and she's working for this guy who she's madly in love with, who's writing a book, and he's a successful book author, and she's supported him doing the editing process of his most recent book, and he gets a lot of credit for it, and no one even knows that she basically wrote most of that book, and it was mostly her idea. And anyway, I won't tell you the whole story in case you want to watch it, but yeah, it was not a bad film actually. It's very cheesy, but it was quite cute. It has Goddess Bridget in it as well. There you go. And I think that's coming through, because it's like there might be some sort of situation in your life that could be a little bit similar. It might not be quite as dramatic as that in your job, where like literally you're, you know, I hope not, you know, for your sake, that you're not like giving all your creative ideas to like someone else and they're like basically getting all the glory and all the credit. But there could be something happening like that on a smaller scale, or like where there's something like, you know, in the movie as well, her character is like, she struggles to stand up for herself, she struggles to like speak up for herself and what she likes and what she wants, and she keeps going along with like, you know, the you know, her fiance and what his ideas are for everything. And so there could be something like that. That's why that film came up. It's something where there's something very alluring and very like attractive, and like it seems like a really good thing. So it could be like, you know, maybe at this particular, where you put this creative work in, you get a lot of like benefits or a lot of like status, or like it's like very attractive, it's very alluring, it's like maybe really good salary, or you get lots of perks, like you get to like go out and like, you know, hang out with famous people or actresses or, you know, Hollywood people or something like that. And tell me if you do pile too, that's quite exciting. But anyway, the point is that like you're meant to be using your creative energy because you are a creator. You have this archetype, and that's what you're stepping into, and this is your higher self. Like this is energy you're letting go of. This is shadow energy, and this is the archetype that you're stepping into, embracing. That this full moon eclipse is going to like push this, where this energy has been like detrimental to you, and help you to realize like what's important to your heart, and like step into this creator energy. Like you are the creator, you're the creator of your life, you're the creator of like, you know, these like inspirations that come to you from the muse. Like you're meant to be like putting these out in the world. And also with that like dream a beautiful dream, it's like your dream is important. Like what you want to dream into being is like, is valuable, and it's important for the earth, and it's something that like you're here to do. There's something that you're meant to create. There's something you're meant to bring forth on the earth. And like it says, where it's saying open, say yes, expand through the extremes, and trust life. So like if you've had an opportunity, or you're feeling like on the verge of an opportunity to like go and, you know, take some time out and do your own creativity, or at least, you know, maybe you still have to do this other job or this other thing for someone else, but like maybe just creating those boundaries and like carving out time to say yes to your own creativity, let's try that again. Carve out some time to say yes to your own creativity and say yes to your muse, so that you can honor that and like bring forth what wants to come forth, and not use all your, you know, it's not to say like you don't use like any of that energy in any job or anything ever again, like it must only be for yourself. Like no, it's kind of like you can still use it for those things, but like create boundaries where it's like, okay, I only give a certain percentage to that project or that person or that relationship or that job or, you know, that opportunity, and then I need to channel some of my energy back. You know, it's like kind of this energy, siren energy, is very like fluid and like just in the sea, and it's kind of like boundless, whereas the creator, there's this ring around it. It's like create a boundary around your own work and your own creativity, and like some time for you to actually carve that out. Because I feel like, yeah, there's some sort of a like inspiration that kind of wants to come down and come through you, but it's like it requires you to like really open to it and say yes, and like trust what's coming through, trust what wants to be like burst through you. So I'm going to finish up by reading from the Sacred Rebels guidebook for Dream a Beautiful Dream. Okay, we go. So the urge to create is the same within you as it is for the universal creator. It also has the same magical ability to draw harmony into being and to find beautiful order in chaos. This includes bringing harmony and the perfect balance of well-being into your body, mind, and emotions. This is also the part of you that wants to dream of beauty and bring it to life in as many ways as possible, and how you eat, dress, look, behave, make love, create art, relate to your community, write your poetry by moonlight, or bathe by candlelight. If you have come to believe that your love of beauty is superficial rather than a genuine expression of your heart's appreciation of symmetry, harmony, and grace, this is a very Libra card, by the way. Some of you guys might be Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node. So yeah, then you may block your ability to create harmony in your life. You may believe it to be an unworthy goal, yet beauty, genuine beauty rather than superficial glamour, flows from within. It is an expression of radiance within the heart and a love of life. If you have struggled with the obsessive attitude towards beauty that tends to prevail in human culture, then it is time you look to nature instead. Her beauty is boundless, quirky, and endlessly diverse. If you feel blocked, thwarted, or contaminated by others in your quest to bring your beautiful dreams to life, yeah, interesting. I did pick up a vibe of like being blocked or thwarted or contaminated. That's that kind of siren energy. There's something else that's around you that's like influencing you and kind of pulling you in a different direction. So yeah, there could be something that's thwarting you. So that could really come up this full moon eclipse. So yeah, you may feel that your heart, interesting. God, it's all the synchronicities are amazing. You may feel that your heart is dulled, minimized, or shut down. Heart chakra healing. So yeah, doing some heart chakra, putting just one of those like YouTube music things for the heart chakra on over this time could be really helpful for you. So yeah, you may feel your heart is dulled, minimized, or shut down. Small-mindedness can limit beauty to a very narrow physical sense. However, you can shun the social disease of superficial, narrow definitions of beauty, thumb your nose at airbrushed images, and dare to love what is. Honoring nature is one example. Give yourself permission to feel and be beautiful in many ways. You can feel harmony outside of what is supposed to be harmonious. If you are brave and wild enough, you can even find beauty and harmony amongst the chaos of change. Sensing that change is just the creative process kicking into gear. Realizing there is nothing to fear brings even greater beauty, harmony, surrender, and grace to the experience of life creating itself in more stunning forms through you. Yeah, that's what I felt like with that creator archetype. Like, life is trying to create something for the earth through you. So you are a creator. You're meant to be creating something here. So you are meant to dream of beauty and to create beauty in its far more holistic and creative definition. Beauty is meant to soothe the soul, inspire thoughts of love, devotion, and appreciation, and to balance the nervous system. This is such Libra energy. I love it. These are healing effects. Healing for the creator and those that receive it. They are worthwhile. They are not meaningless, impractical, flippant, or trivial. A world without the beauty of art and all its various and unique interpretations would be a less colorful, less vibrant, less cheeky, and less healing place to be. Yeah, maybe I feel like for some of you, you might have been told that like doing something creative in your life was like not worthwhile, like as a career path maybe, or even just doing it as a hobby or in your own time. There might have been some sort of conditioning around it being like impractical or like trivial or like not important, or there's much more important jobs or something to do. So yeah, time that you spend dreaming of beauty and allowing it to be born through you in various heart-centered ways is worthwhile. Don't disregard it or discount it. The most beautiful dreams can inspire the practical, hardworking dedication required to bring them to life for the betterment of the world. This oracle also comes with a particular message for you. There is a situation in your life right now where you feel uncertain about your ability to fix or heal. You lack the inspiration to be able to imagine it differently than how it currently seems to be. You may therefore feel inhibited in your ability to bring about constructive change. However, the perfect beauty of this situation is not revealed by what you attempt to do to it or through trying to impose the right dream upon it. It is to be healed and perfected into all that it can be through the revelation of the beauty that already lies within it. This happens when we accept the existence of inner harmony in all of creation, even if it cannot be consciously observed. By expecting there to be beauty within a situation, even if it is hidden, you'll be open to seeing the healing potential even in your challenges. Don't attempt to force the situation or issue to take the right shape. Instead, ask it to show its beauty to you. This might apply to your body, to your relationship, to your finances, your work situation, a new creative project, or anything else. From this place of inquiry, you will begin to grasp the creative genius of what is and unveil not only its potential beauty, but how perfect it is for you at this time, just as it is. In opening up to the beauty within yourself and your circumstances, you also open up to change. When what we accept can change most easily, it is when we resist or deny that change slows down and suffering persists. You can overcome resistance and denial by approaching it with a curious mind, an open heart, and the healing process below. By the way, this oracle has come to you because you have the power to be a positive influence in whatever situation holds the most meaning for you right now, and you need to know that. So the healing process is to imagine, visualize, or perceive a softly glowing, radiant golden light within your head. It expands outwards in all directions without losing its radiance or power. Everything it touches, it casts into graceful, beautiful harmony, including your mind. Be with this light, be at peace, and let it happen. When you are ready, simply open your eyes and say, "The perfect harmony of beauty awakens within me and all around me. I serve that golden light in unconditional love and creative power." You have finished your healing process. Oh, that's really beautiful. I love that for you, pile number 2. So those are all the messages that I have. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that resonated for you. Leave a comment below if you can do that. I'm not sure in playback if it lets you do that because I haven't done a live stream before. So yeah, if you're watching it after the live stream, you may not be able to comment. But if you can, then leave a comment. I would love to hear how it resonated. Hit the like button if it lets you do that as well. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the community. I would love to have you here. And all the best with your this whole Libra full moon eclipse and releasing anything that's holding you back from stepping into your higher self. All the best, and I will see you in the next reading. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick tiny sip of water. Okay, so we've got the final pile here. Kali Ma. So if you chose Kali Ma with Fierce Love, pile number 3, this will be your reading. Alrighty, so we got card number 37 with 3rd chakra, Archangel Shamuel. It's a solar plexus chakra. For the archetype that you are letting go of, we got card number 28, which is the shadow archetype. And the archetype that you are stepping into, we got card number 29, which is the self archetype, which I love that. And then we got card number 31 with trust yourself. And finally, release the petals, transformation, death and rebirth, shedding and all change. Beautiful. Okay, so pile number 3, powerful, powerful energy going on. So I feel like with Kali Ma and the shadow here, it feels like there's something that Kali is asking you to release, or something that she's coming forward through this Libra full moon portal to like cut away. So when Kali shows up in our life, it's a very fierce love energy. It's very powerful energy. It's very like, it feels at the time like it's the rug being pulled out from under our feet, but it's usually designed because there's like, it's kind of like tower energy in tarot. It's like there's some sort of foundation or something that we've been attached to, or something that our ego has been connected to that is no longer serving us. It's not connected to our higher self. It's not meant to be in our future. And so she will come along and like lovingly, even though it feels pretty brutal at the time, like cut that away. It's kind of like her scythe is usually used to kind of like cut our heads off, which is like, you know, kind of sounds really brutal, but it's all about like kind of getting us to operate from our heart and from our soul rather than from our mind and from our ego. So it's like she'll kind of like metaphorically kind of cut our head off so that we're not operating from like that old identity. Essentially, it's often to do with like letting go of an old identity. So I feel like, especially with the self coming up as the archetype you're stepping into, I feel like you're stepping away from this like shadow aspect of yourself where maybe you rejected a lot of parts of your true self. There might have been a lot of like, this particular card, shadow card in this deck talks about like, yeah, where you've disowned parts of yourself, you've rejected them, maybe because of childhood stuff or whatever reason, some sort of conditioning or something that's happened along the lines where it's like it's forced you to like disown parts of your experience or parts of who you really are or parts of your personality or parts of your like true self. Like this energy is kind of the total opposite of this energy. Like living in shadow is like living in shame. It's like living in like, you know, hiding, like being in the shadows, like being sort of hidden and like, you know, feeling shameful about ourselves, feeling like, you know, rejecting of certain parts of ourselves, like feeling like we're not worthwhile in a certain way, you know. And Kali wants to come in and like cut anything away that's like making us think that, like any sort of old identity, old like thought patterns, old beliefs, or any relationship we might be in now, or any sort of job or anything that's making us feel those things, like anything where we've absorbed that kind of like negative toxic energy from something else. She will come in and with this like fierce love energy just like scythe through it, like cut it away. It's like this is time to go. So if you feel like, especially with the 3rd chakra here, this is a lot to do with like where we're giving our power away, because the 3rd chakra, the solar plexus, is all to do with like, you know, your center of personal power, your center of will, like where you shine your own light and it's like your own identity, you know, how you shine that out into the world. And so with this being highlighted, you know, as being a particular chakra that's going to be activated and cleared and healed through this full moon eclipse, you know, it's helping you to realize where you've been giving your power away, giving like your energy to other people or to your shadow, to like parts of your, you know, like these sort of rejecting aspects of yourself, these sort of like shame or like just an old identity, an old way of being, an old way of operating that is like very like shadow energy, very sort of toxic energy or very negative energy or very kind of like suppressing energy, I guess. yeah, like where like your true self has been like suppressed or repressed. I'm kind of seeing like it's interesting. There's like a shadow figure, like a figure in darkness, kind of behind. But then there's this pearl here, and pearls get formed, you know, through like the most intense transformation, right, under the ocean. And then they're just this like become this like beautiful gem, and it's at the center of this person, and then there's all these colors that are shining out. And I feel like this transformation, as it said with this card, that you're going through is like designed to like get you to shift out of like that shadow aspect of yourself, or viewing yourself like in this negative light, or viewing yourself like in a way that where you're sort of rejecting yourself, and getting you to like see yourself as this pearl. You're this beautiful pearl, like you've been formed under these intense conditions, and really like you're this multicolored, like multifaceted, like all these colors are shining out from you. It's like you're kind of expressing your true self, you know, you're stepping into your identity, you're shining who you really are, which is really beautiful. Yeah, I feel like definitely like with that release the petals, death and rebirth, there's some sort of, and with Kali, you know, as I mentioned, like cutting something away, there's some sort of ending here. Whether this is like something external in your life, like a relationship, a job, you know, like I said, often when Kali arrives, it's like to pull the rug out, the proverbial rug out from under our feet, and get us to like realign with something that's really meant for us. So this death cycle that you're in, this death and rebirth, could be an ending of something on the outside, or it could be more of an internal process of transformation, of like just a sort of something related to like, you know, your shadow, towards like how you relate to yourself, how you shine your light, like how you show up in the world, like, you know, whether you're sort of hiding and in shame and kind of rejecting parts of yourself and being really self-conscious and really like kind of, yeah, like sort of in this kind of dark shrouded kind of energy, or whether you're like, you know, confident and like shining your light and bold and like with a healed solar plexus, where you know who you are, you stand in your, you know yourself, you are your true self, you stand in that strong identity, and you can like, you know, shine your light out in the world and like project your will out and like go after your goals. You know, solar plexus energy, like a healed solar plexus, can like shine their light in the world. They can show up for themselves, they're motivated to go after things, they can set goals and intentions and actually act towards them. They're confident to go after things, you know. So there could be something that has been holding you back, something in your shadow, whether it was, like I said, a specific thing on the outside, like a relationship or something that Kali's come to like cut away, or just like an internal transformation, an internal letting go of like old beliefs, like limiting stories, like sort of trauma energy, shame energy, things that have been keeping you suppressed, things that have been keeping your solar plexus kind of like covered. But yeah, there's definitely some kind of transformation. There's definitely, it says all change. So it's like everything, I feel like, whether this is happening on the outside or the inside, is kind of like, it's going to kind of happen both ways. Like everything's going to change, like, because it's as within, so without, right? So if you do change within, if you go through this change where you're letting go of like staying stuck in this sort of like shadow aspect of yourself, where it's like aspects of yourself that have been repressed and pushed into like, you know, your shadow, where it's like those parts aren't worthy of being seen in the light, like those parts need to stay like down. You know, if you've been operating from that place, and then you start to like heal that and bring, sort of reintegrate those parts of you that have been lost and pushed into the shadow, and reintegrate them back into like, you know, going from sort of darkness into like all these multicolored lights that are just like, like just shining out. Like, this is you, Pile 3. You're just like, blah, like coming out. You're flying your freak flag. You're just coming out of the closet, and, you know, in whichever way, and just like shining your true light, being your true self. So I feel like there's, yeah, this like kind of expansive energy that you're being called towards. And so there's something for most of you, I feel like this is an inner thing, but then that will have a knock-on effect on things on the outside. Like there's no possible way that it won't, because as you start to become your true self and really like shine your light, you'll attract like different opportunities and different things will come to you, and like things will just evolve in a different way. You'll feel more motivated, more confident, more courageous. You know, you'll have a stronger sense of will. You'll have more power available to you because, you know, with that solar plexus chakra, it feels like maybe for some of you, you've been really giving your personal power away either to these like negative thoughts in your shadow, like these rejecting thoughts about yourself, or to someone else or a situation that has been disempowering in some way. And so that's why Kali's kind of come to like cut that disempowering situation, all those disempowering beliefs away from you, so that you can step into your true power and embrace this like pearl aspect of yourself. Like you are this pearl, you are this gem, you are meant to be here, you know. And with this trust yourself energy, I just feel like this is so beautiful. I love all the like animals that are kind of all around this figure, like the butterfly, again, symbol of transformation. We've got a snake, also a symbol of transformation. You know, snakes shed their skin. And butterflies go through like a, you know, cocoon process. So again, for you, pile number 3, I particularly recommended it for pile 1, but for you, pile 3, if you skipped the, or you didn't hear the healing process that I did at the beginning with Mama Killa, I would highly encourage you to go back. It's only about 15 minutes, but it'll help you kind of like cocoon and then clear out anyone else's energy or influence, or like where they've got power over you, and tune into your own energy field in this like clear way where it's like you're connecting with your sort of pure energy, your true self energy. It'll help you to like tap into this like strength to be able to trust yourself, you know, especially if you are feeling called to like walk away from something that is not serving you. It will really help you to trust yourself, because you won't be influenced by someone else. You won't be influenced by like, you know, this shadow part of yourself. You won't be influenced by anyone who's trying to take your power away from you. Like you'll just be in your own energy. Like it will really help you to like reconnect with your true self and to trust yourself. So I'd highly recommend that meditation that I did at the beginning of the live stream, or about partway through the live stream. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, some of you might be in your 30s, because we've got 31 with Trust Yourself, the Trust Yourself card, and then 37 here as well. And then we also had 28, was it? 28, yeah, so some of you could be 28. You could be going through a Saturn return, which often when you go through a Saturn return, you end up going through Kali moments, because, you know, Saturn, the great, like, awakener, the one who awakens us to like, you know, getting on track with our purpose and everything like that. It's like, you know, you hit that return at age 28, and like if you've sort of strayed off your path a bit or felt sort of like pulled into other things, like Saturn will come along and be like, right, come on, it's time to like move towards your purpose now. We're going to pull you out of that situation. And so a lot of people go through big life changes, as it said, all change. You know, release the petals, like death and rebirth, like endings of things, endings of relationships often happen around that age, endings of like moving countries, moving jobs and changing careers and things. So you could be going through something like that, or in the process of something like that. You don't have to be like 28, you could be a bit older. As I said, you could be in your 30s or something. But yeah, I'm just seeing like 28, 20, 29 kind of coming up. And also actually 37 reduces to 10 in numerology, and 28 reduces to 10 in numerology, and 10s are all about endings. You know, they're an end of a cycle. It's a completion of a cycle. So there's an end of a cycle here. There's an end of living from this like place where you're sort of rejecting yourself, or you're living in shame, or you're living from your shadow, and you're stepping into like this new archetype that's going to come about, you know, in a powerful way as a result of this Libra full moon eclipse, is stepping into your true self and really shining your beautiful multicolored light, pile 3. I love that for you. So I'm going to finish up with the guidance from the Trust Yourself, from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, I could say, for the Trust Yourself card. So here we go. So, you are wise. You know how to grow, even without knowing how you know. Like the ancient forests, spectacular galaxies, and the acorn that becomes the oak, there is a natural intelligence for growth that is beyond logic and reason. It just happens. At the deepest levels, we are governed by this force that is so palpable it literally shapes the world. At the same time, it is so invisible that sometimes we forget its presence and worry that our minds have to work everything out for life to happen and for us to be all right. We can become unnecessarily anxious about our affairs and how life will unfold. This oracle brings the message that you are growing. You really are. Don't doubt it, even if you don't see it yet. Remember that so much is happening when the seed is still unbroken in the ground. Below the earth, it is summoning up all the might, power, and force it needs to push above the topsoil and burst up into the light. It is essential for anything good to happen later on. Yet we don't see any of that. We just have to trust that things will happen when the time is right. You are also being asked to trust in yourself. You know how to grow. Don't overthink things. It won't help you. Don't worry so much. You are doing a great job in this game of life. When you trust yourself, you relax and you can heed your own wisdom, insight, and messages much more clearly and easily. This oracle comes with particular guidance. You have a big destiny this lifetime and much to experience. Sometimes you make the error of judging something that is unpleasant as negative or a mistake. It isn't. It's just part of your great hunger for experience. It doesn't mean you have to have a lot of it, but when you do, don't shame yourself for it. It's so interesting this card is mentioning shame, because I really picked up a strong shame energy from this shadow card, that you might shame yourself if like you are going through a bit of a Kali moment where something's been cut away, and you could really shame yourself for that. Like, why did I go into that? Why did that happen? I'm such an idiot. I shouldn't have done that. And I feel like it's like, trust yourself. There was a reason why, you know, like even though something might not be meant for us in the long term, or even though Kali might be coming in to pull something away because it's not in the highest, it's not in alignment with our higher self, you know, that doesn't mean to say that you should never have done it, and like, you know, she's coming in to punish you because that was the most terrible thing you ever did, and like, you know, you shouldn't have done that, and like, you know, you shouldn't trust yourself to make any decision ever. It's like there was a reason that you did whatever it was, or there was a reason you were with that person, or there was a reason you did that job, or like you've got to trust in like, you know, like who you were at that time, and that you made the best decision for yourself at that time. But that some things, you know, as we grow, some things are just, they're meant to be something we're meant to experience, that our soul is meant to experience here, and then we're meant to let them go and move on. You know, it's like release the petals. It's just like as the rose grows and then it blossoms, and then it, you know, so there it was a period where something might have blossomed, and then it releases those petals and it sheds, and it, you know, the plant sort of goes back and withdraws back into the ground, and then new seeds come through. So it's like honoring that kind of process and trusting that process, and that like those negative things, like, you know, don't sort of judge them as a mistake kind of thing. I feel like particularly for you past three, there might be a lot of self-shaming, self-judgment, self-berating kind of going on perhaps. So yeah, so simply let it be. Maybe it's just fertilizer for your next step on the path. It's all part of your life process, and it's all a sign of growth. This oracle is also telling you not to resist any points of instability in your life. This even applies to your most treasured relationships or creative projects. That instability is just a growing pain, because more consciousness, more love, and more light wants to infiltrate and pervade all parts of your life. The instability is not a sign of sickness, but of growth. So don't fret. Instead, choose to flow and grow. Yeah, definitely like the instability thing that could be like with Kali coming through with the fierce love, like where, like I said, she'll pull the rug out from under your feet. So things that you felt like were a strong foundation might suddenly be quite wobbly. So you could be going through a bit of instability at the moment as you're being called to kind of like reroot yourself, and like to kind of like be realigned in the like the right direction, essentially, to be able to like, you know, use all of that, like it said, to fertilize your growth. But that foundation might not be the right foundation for like your next stage of your evolution. So you could be going through a bit of a transitional phase right now, where you're in between, say, in between homes, or in between relationships, or in between jobs, or something like that. And that's all meant to be, because it's like something is like you're being called to kind of create a new foundation somewhere that's stronger and allows you to grow even more in your next stage. So okay, so there's a healing process here. So close your eyes and relax for a moment. Breathe in and out. Let your awareness drift away from worries and day-to-day matters, and settle instead on the feeling of warmth inside your body. Then slowly imagine, sense, feel, or perceive that you have an acorn in your hand. You are standing in nature as sunrise breaks, flooding the horizon with color and light. As you hold the acorn up to the light of the rising sun, something magical happens. Out of the acorn, a hologram shines forth. It is a blueprint of this entire being that is yet to be. You see an acorn in that hologram, but you also see a marvelous oak tree. You see the wildlife that will support and be supported by that tree, the ecosystem of which it is a part. You see yourself holding the acorn up to the rising sun. You see seasons demarcated as rings of time within the trunk of the tree. You see the passing lives of many people that enjoyed the oak tree through its long life. Place the acorn down on the ground as the sun continues to rise. Imagine, if you will, kneeling and touching your forehead lightly to the earth in reverence for the genius of growth. That same genius lives within you. In your time, open your eyes and go about your day. You have completed your healing process. Oh, that's really beautiful. I love that for you, pile number 3. Yeah, I feel like you're going through, definitely going through, like this card said, the release of petals, a death and rebirth process where you're letting go of some cycle. Like I said with the number 10, something's ending, something's being completed, some cycle is closing out. And it was designed to kind of like bring this like shadow into your awareness, these shadow parts into your awareness. And I feel like they're, it's either kind of like some kind of conditioning or aspect of like aspects of yourself that you've repressed in childhood perhaps and pushed into your shadow, or it's like some sort of like negativity that's coming from the outside from someone else, or quite likely both, right? Because as within, so without, and like quite often how we feel about ourselves will attract situations in our life that mirror that back. So that could well be why it's like Kali's coming along to like kind of cut those situations away, because they were like mirroring back an old version of you, like an outdated version of you, an old foundation or an old like ego identity that's like no longer who you really are. It's no longer your higher self. You're being called towards this self rather than this like operating from a shadow self. You're being called towards this beautiful multifaceted light self. And yeah, I feel like this process, this death and rebirth process could be quite difficult because, like I said, it might be like quite a big transition at the moment. A lot of things might be shedding. You could be in quite like a big, we had 2 10s, so it's like perhaps 2 things are ending in your life, or 2 cycles are coming to a close. But it's really important to trust yourself. And we've got 31 with this, which in numerology reduces to 4. And 4s are all about stability and new foundations and creating a strong, solid foundation for yourself. So trust yourself that you can do that. Like it said with the oak tree, you are that acorn. You can grow into that oak. And I just love how there's like so many little animals around this person. Maybe for some of you, you're either really into animals or you are into like the shamanic thing. You might have a lot of like, you might have some totem animals, so there could be one in particular that's kind of like calling to you, perhaps the lion as well, because that's linked, lion energy is linked with like the solar plexus, Leo energy, the sun, which is linked to the sun, which is linked to the solar plexus. So lion, and it's also that very fierce energy. So lion energy could be, or lions as a totem animal, or maybe the birds or butterfly could be significant as well. I'm just noticing with the color blue as well, this is all about the throat chakra too, which is about expressing your truth and being your authentic self and being able to express your own needs and live from that like place of authenticity. So both the solar plexus chakra and the throat chakra are highlighted for you, pile number 3. So those are all the messages I have. I hope that resonated for you. Drop me a comment below if you're able to do that. This is the first time I've done a live stream, so I'm not even sure if you can comment on these videos after, but drop a comment below if it did resonate. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you are not already part of the community. I would love to have you here. All the best with this full moon eclipse in Libra. I hope you get through it okay, and particularly for you, part 3, because I can tell you're going through quite a tough cycle at the moment, so hold through it. I've been through these before in the past myself, and it's horrible at the time, I know, and it can be quite painful. The shedding process is not easy, but like I will say, from coming out the other side of a couple of intense cycles like that in the past, that so much more, like so many more beautiful things have all come as a result, and such like much better foundations for myself have been created as a result of like going through things like that. So like courage and hold through it. You'll get there and things will be a lot better on the other side. So I wish you all the best. I send you all my love, and call on Mama Killa for support through this cycle, and do the healing process if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye.